Welcome to episode number 81 of the award-winning podcast, the Eavesdrop podcast. I only said that because he reminded me
of the year, baby.
Podcast of the year. I think it was Esports Show.
Oh, Esports Show of the year, okay.
Esports Show of the year, which I don't know who I was up against, but I know that mine's more consistent than theirs.
Yeah.
Like I've missed, how many weeks have we missed total? Like a total of 4 weeks.
That's insane.
This year with COVID.
That's insane.
And we also try to make to do these interviews like on Zoom.
I think I saw, was it Octanes?
Octanes,
that
yeah.
was on? Okay,
and it just doesn't feel the same, man.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not
It's
like
not the
beat
same.
in person and stuff,
Yeah.
but nah, it was well-deserved. You guys crush it every single week. So.
Thank you. Yeah, Matt does all right. He fucks up the audio every once in a while.
Oh, Matt, come on. I'll make sure to sit close to the mic, Matt, okay?
Yeah. No,
Make
shout out
sure
to
to
who?
close.
No, I'm kidding. So you have your own podcast going on. Do you have a name for it?
Stay Attached podcast
Stay
right
Attached,
now.
that's good.
It was kind of inspired by being like an off-season kind of thing,
Yeah.
to have something for me to look forward to do, and then the community as well to have some more content to look forward to making.
Yeah.
And I paid for all the graphics and did everything, but I was kind of like nervous to start it. I'm like, I don't know if anyone's gonna watch. I don't know how it's gonna go, but
See, that's the problem that everybody faces.
I'm never
dude.
gonna forgive myself if I don't at least try to do
Yeah.
it. And so I did it, and it went pretty well. So I'm definitely looking forward to doing more episodes whenever I can find the time and find time for the guests to come on too. But it's been a good time.
You know who has a good podcast and just doesn't do anything with it? Fucking Nameless.
Yeah.
He's got the podcast. Like,
Yeah.
A really good a good podcast, but his consistency. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know what they did for the off season. Like they had like their off. I know it's starting. It's today. They're doing their first episode, but like the whole off Nameless and like, the
he is.
podcast.
Okay.
But like the whole off season, like that's like time when there was so much
to do
to talk about, so
Yeah.
much to do. Roster mania, the PC switch, 4v4. So I was just.
I don't know. I always
surprised.
see, and look, I'm glad that you started yours because I think that there is a need for that. Right before we started the podcast, I was telling you got to have like several different hustles going on at once. Having 2 hustles nowadays like ain't good enough, right? Especially in this thing. I try to put my dirty little hands in every little cookie jar that I can just to see what pops, right?
Yeah.
There's the diversify your funds scenario. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You know, yours happens to be your time, right? You have your practice time and then you have your off time. From a mental standpoint, obviously, you got to make sure that you take care of that, and then you're taking relaxation. But I'm glad that you're starting a podcast.
Thank you.
How's that been going? Are you? Don't let me grade you right now. How often do you upload?
Oh wait, uploaded my YouTube or the podcast?
The podcast.
I've only done 7 episodes.
Only done 7
Only
episodes.
7.
Did you start 7 weeks ago?
No, I started way before, like middle of the off season,
Okay.
like a month left, and I was trying to do like as many as I could during the off season because I knew once the season hit,
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to get like other pros on it because they want to scrim or play 8s or tournaments or chill.
Lazy, dude.
And so I got
Lazy.
Doug on. Doug Sensor
Yeah.
Martin was the
You
only
can
one
always
that came
rely on him.
He's always coming through. But,
Yeah.
He's a staple in the COD community.
So what's the main mission behind the podcast? Just giving something for people to listen to, or?
That's a good question. Honestly, just giving, like you said, giving people something to listen to, but then also learning more about these players. Like I had Brandon on, Dashy, and just to hear, and RCs as well, to hear like their stories and how they came up, to have other people hear that as well. Because I learned a lot about them, and I'm sure, and I've been friends with them for like a pretty long time. And to the casual Call of Duty fan, they might learn a ton about them and see how they really are as people just outside the game. I mean, you guys already do an amazing job of all the other content, so people know how Brandon is or Alec is like outside and as a person. But it was just kind of fun to learn more about people and then have other people see that as well.
I like that. So in this episode of Stay Attached and the Eavesdrop podcast, we're gonna get to know you, right? Like how you started. Obviously, you have a very supporting mom. She goes to every single event.
Very, yes.
That's awesome, right? Having that sort of support. Was it hard early on? To get her to not necessarily support, but to understand the scene?
Honestly, it wasn't too difficult to get my mom to support. Like when I was younger, she was taking me to local lands, like a couple hours away from my house.
Yeah.
And then even one time, I went to this local land. I forgot what it was called, like WGN, I think. It was somewhere. It was in Sacramento, and she drove myself.
Where are you guys from originally?
Southern California, Moore Park, small little town. And she drove us 8 hours in Black Ops 2 to go to this land. And I was just like, mind blown that she would even drive 8 hours, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
As long as I was like getting good grades and doing good in like sports and making sure I'm going to practice and all that stuff, my parents were happy. But my dad was definitely more like, be smart, don't get too into gaming because we don't know where this is going to go. Like, make sure you set yourself up for your future. My mom was the same way, but she would take me to these lands and like give me opportunities, and I would do pretty well. I would meet some people, and then people would come up to her and be like, oh, your son, like, he's really good, he has potential. And this was like MW3 days when I first started going. Then went to a bunch in like Black Ops 2 as well. So kind of just making connections there.
You played in Ghost though, right?
Yeah, I played in Ghost.
You beat us at that Philly
event.
Philly, I was recording.
Don't look at that recording after I beat you.
You and Miyagi?
Yeah, me and Miyagi, Slasher, and Strife.
Oh, Slasher was I don't know who's, I haven't heard of Strife in a long time, but that's crazy. That's that was a team that that's the time that Seth left.
Yes.
That's also when
Big T
retired.
Big T retired,
Yep. And I think you guys were the reason, dude. You beating us and knocking us out of the tournament said, Seth, I'm leaving. I'm going to be I
actually remember a funny story from that night, because I was pretty good friends, or like the Sunday night, because I was pretty good friends with Javon Gunjar.
Yeah.
And he was like one of the big name players at the time. Like, he was potentially going to join Cole, and at that time he was joining Envy. And then he was telling me, he's like, yo, like, I'm by a team with Scump, I think it was like Proofy, and then Merc on that Envy team. And he's like, yo, this is gonna be crazy. Like, there's gonna be 2 Envy teams. I'm gonna team with Seth and all this stuff. And then I saw it all happen, and then like a week later, everything went back to normal as it should be.
Yeah.
So
tough times. So when did you start playing? When like tell me how old you were. You were in high school, obviously, when you started playing.
I first started playing Call of Duty in COD 4 when I was like 10 years old, and then started competing.
What was your tag back then?
Oh, my first tag was like DMP 15, and it was just some basic stuff. But I spent so much of my parents' money changing my gamer tag, because you could spend like, what was it,
1600.
You can buy 1600. I think it was like 800 to change your tag.
Yeah.
And I did that way too many times. Like, I was so dumb, and I felt really bad. So I had to make sure to repay my parents back for me being a little kid and not really seeing the value of money.
Yeah.
But my first major event I went to was Black Ops 2 Anaheim.
Okay.
And that was our first major event I competed in. I actually went to Black Ops 1 Anaheim to spectate with some of my friends from my hometown, and I remember like seeing you in the crowd, seeing like Fear, the Envies, your team, and just like it was being so cool. I'm like, oh my god, like these huge pro players. Like, at the time, I'm like, these guys are celebrities to me, and like they're the best in the world. And I was just like inspired, want to get on main stage and start competing, and just try and climb that ladder.
And what
do
happened? You fucking competed and ended up winning a championship.
We made it happen. We made it happen.
So you go to your event, you get inspired by all this. Like, at what point did you know that you had the chops, right? At what point did you know that you could be up there on main stage and eventually on the Eavesdrop podcast?
Hey, biggest achievement of my career here, so I appreciate you.
Right.
But probably Black Ops 2. I went to that Black Ops 2 Anaheim, and I placed like top 29. But it's not too bad for a first major event.
I mean, out of what, it was like 400 teams, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of teams.
Jesus.
And I actually found my team of Kalani, Nihil, and Fnatic the day before the event. So I wasn't even going to play at that event. And then I just met them, and I was able to play, and I did pretty well. And then I started making some connections, and that's when I kind of knew, like, all right, I could do this and make this a serious thing. And then grinded out the rest of Black Ops 2. Ended the year winning a big online tournament. It was like some winter event. I remember I filled in with like I filled in for Realize after he was getting host boot. I played with like Sender, Troy,
Troy Sender Michaels.
The GOAT coach, Diabolic, and I forgot who else was our fourth.
Yo, Diabolic, I remember that dude.
Yeah, and I actually won my first GB Gold with Troy as well. My first GB Gold. So Troy and I, we've known each other for a while. Yeah. But that's kind of when I knew, like the middle of Black Ops 2, where I was like, okay, I could do this. Like, I've played on LAN a bunch of times, and I did well. So
how do you? This is a question that I ask everybody to give their own tip, because everybody has a different life. Everybody came into this thing a different way, and it's never the same answer, right? How did you network to know these guys, to believe in, because if I make up a clan tag today, right, just a random clan tag, like what do I need to do? Like, I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the only way I know how to network is say, hey, yo, I'm HECZ. You know what I mean? But that's it. But if I'm a nobody, right, or someone that hasn't made their name yet, like how do you get that done? Like, how did you convince your team? It's like, yo, give me a shot, I'm good.
Honestly, the way to do it nowadays is just doing good in online tournaments, wagers, whatever it may be. Because when people see you winning or you beating them, they're going to be like, okay, this kid is actually really good. And then that's you get an opportunity to maybe go to some LAN event when we can start going to those again, and you do good there. People want a team with players that are good and players that they can be successful with. So just doing good in online tournaments as a start is probably the biggest thing. And then what I think helped me a lot in my career by getting used to playing on LAN was going to a lot of the local LAN events in my area just to get those reps on LAN. And I went to probably like
Who was throwing these tournaments?
The ones in Southern California were thrown by Foons and some people that were on the termination team, where it was like Conquer, DZ, Chaotic, some old players. They don't really compete much anymore. But it was called like Prism Games, and they were in a little like old Boost Mobile store.
Yeah.
And it would be like 105 degrees in there. There'd be one little fan
So
on
hot.
you, and it was just passion in there. Like everyone was talking the
You
craziest.
could smell the passion.
Yeah, everyone was talking the craziest amounts of trash and crazy things were being said. But I mean, that's where it starts. Like, there's no complaints. You go there, you do your thing, you win.
How old were you at the time?
15 or 16.
All right, so you're 15 or 16. Your mom's taking you to these.
Yeah.
Or your dad.
Yeah, my mom.
And
My
your
mom.
mom's taking you to these things, and she's just sitting there in the crowd, not knowing what the fuck is going on. All of a sudden, someone's yelling at your face, like, you suck, Dylan. Dylan, you suck, and this, that, and the other. did that not, like, sort of make her be like, yo, I got to get my son out of here for safety reasons?
That's actually a funny story that you mentioned that. What's up? That's actually a funny story that you mentioned that, because I wouldn't let my mom go inside because I knew that if she saw that, she might not want me to be there or playing at these tournaments because like what people are saying. And so I was like, Mom, you try to stay in the car, like you gotta relax. And then eventually she would like come inside because I was winning all these tournaments, like the 2v2s, 4v4s and stuff. So I would kind of like go there, and everyone would like kind of expect me to win and my team to win because I was just being there so often.
That guy.
And then my mom was able to come inside and start meeting everyone because I kind of had some like respect there. So that's when I started allowing her to like come inside. But before, I definitely, when she first started coming, I did not want her to be in there because then she might have just been like, no, we can't do this. Like, you got to go home.
Yeah, it's too much.
I was scared about that.
Yeah, I bet. So obviously you sort of, she starts going in there. Was there a time where you were just like, I'm just going to tell her, I'm like, Mom, look, I'm playing and people yell in my face. It's like, it gets a little crazy, but it's never anything like physically threatening. It's just kids being kids, yelling at each other, trying to get in each other's minds, mind games. You never thought about like sort of introducing her into this weird world that way?
Not really. I never really thought to like ease her into it and start telling her about it because, I mean, it was probably me saying a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of other people saying
you
crazy.
were in there too.
I definitely am sure. I was probably like quiet until someone said something, and then when I got my opportunity, we won the map or something, that's when it's time to get loud and start talking the trash.
Don't shoot my body ever.
You got to win though. Like if someone shoots your body, they have to win, and if they don't win, like it's coming.
Oh, dude,
it's coming.
The worst thing, GB kids are the worst, right? Like they won't even be winning, and they're shooting your body. Like you'll be up 5-1.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I'm like, I can't take these kids seriously, man. Okay, so one question that I always had in myself, because obviously I came into this thing when I was like 29 years old, right? Super old for what this is. A lot of people that we knew, like Scumpy, you guys, like Temper, like all of these dudes were in high school when they started, FaZe Clan or when they started that. Yeah. You won a world championship and had to go to school the following day or something like that, right?
Yeah.
How was that? Like, was the school all like, yo, what the fuck? Everyone dapping you up? Like, what was that like?
It was a crazy experience. We actually had like a week break for like some kind of like spring or break or something like that. But when I went back, the first day I was in class, like a lot of my friends actually went to that COD Champs event. So like one of my friends had a big fat head of my head in the crowd, and just a couple of other my friends were there. We had a little party at the hotel after. Water, of course, only because we weren't of age to do all that stuff. But just a fun little party. Had some good dinner and desserts.
Snackables
snacks.
and what are those specific coolers?
We had none of those. We didn't even get there. We just had Oreos, water, pizza. Come on, like the high school party stuff. But when we went back to school, or when I went back to school, I was sitting in like my second period class, and I got a call from like the yard duty came to my class and was like, oh, I need Dylan Price. Like we got to take him to the office. I'm like, oh God, what did I do? Like, cause I've already was missing a lot of days of school for these tournaments. Cause I would disappear on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, but then be back for a little bit, for a couple weeks, and then have to go back to another tournament because in AW, that's when it was. We had like 14 or 15 events. Like, we were traveling a lot. A lot. And I was like, they're about to tell me like I can't go to these events or I'm gonna fail, or I'm gonna get kicked out or something. And I got to the principal's office and they actually had a poster from the event. And they was like, oh, like, congrats on winning this. Can you sign this? And I was like, all right, I got you. It was cool. And so I definitely had the support of like my school, my teachers, and then also my friends as well.
Did you have a girlfriend at the time?
Nah, no girlfriend at the time.
Nah? No interest even after winning $100,000?
Honestly, like in high school, I don't know why. Like I didn't really care to have like a girlfriend at the time. Like I just was so focused on playing Call of Duty. Like that was literally all I did. I would just play Call of Duty. My friends would call me to hang out. I'd be like, I'm sick. I'm playing Call of Duty. That's what I would tell them before they knew I was playing. I would always be like, I'm sick. And then I just play all weekend.
The worst part about that is the fact that you can tell them, like, guys, I'm having such a good time playing this game that you're just not going to understand. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm sick.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell somebody, like, yo, I'm having more fun doing this and hanging out with you. Yeah. It's just not something that the people like can understand.
Yeah.
But the majority of the school knew that you were that guy.
After I won the tournament, that's when it kind of got like to where I can't hide it anymore. Because I was originally like hiding it for a couple years when I was like a freshman, sophomore. It kind of got leaked out when I was a junior because that's when I started going to these tournaments and doing well. And there was a couple articles posted about me. And then senior year when I like won COD champs and then all those other events, like it was just there was no hiding it anymore. It was just like
did people say what's up to you, like just random people you didn't even know?
Oh yeah, and one of the cool things about it is that like no one really talked about like gaming like that back then. And now after I won, there was like so many more people talking about Call of Duty at the school.
Yeah.
There was people in the grades below me. They were throwing their own LAN events in their garages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there was so many Call of Duty players, but you would have never known if like people just, if I didn't win, and then people will start talking about it.
Football, basketball, baseball, man.
That was
soccer,
the only cool
right?
thing.
Like that's the only cool thing. And then here you come. You're like making more money than all you motherfuckers. You know, like you kick your little soccer ball around. You do this, that, and the other. I always wondered what it was like to be a celebrity in high school because you don't often get that. And sometimes it's the adverse effect that you would have. You're not popular for the right reasons. You're popular for the wrong reasons, right? Like jocks get jealous that they're not, that they're not the popular guy because they're, playing sports and So they're like, no, we got to bully this fucking little Call of Duty nerd. Like most recently, that baseball player, right, that said, hey, you sitting at home playing these video games. Have you ever just sat there and thought about when the last time it was that you got laid? And you're looking at this dude like, I know you don't get laid. You know what I mean? Like, there's zero chance the way you look, you could do that. Yeah, you look at somebody, you're like, I'm gonna be honest, man. If you weren't a baseball player and you didn't have the money that you have, like, you know what I mean?
You might be in a tough spot.
Yeah, you might be in a tough spot. Yeah. What do you think? The CDL. Obviously, we went through season 1. I personally think it was successful enough to where we can continue to build upon that, right? Yeah. We weren't starting. I don't know why this phrase came into my head all of a sudden, but like we weren't starting from zero. We're starting like the league was new, but we were starting from experience of 10 years.
Yeah, there was still history behind all the teams and players. Yeah.
Yeah. For season 2, what are you looking forward to?
Season 2. Of course, if we can have any matches on LAN and like events, I definitely miss LAN because like just that energy. I mean, even if we don't have people that can spectate and be in the crowd like that, it sucks because that's like the best feeling when people are just rooting for you or rooting against you. It doesn't matter. Just having that many people show up for a gaming event, a Call of Duty event, is like a dream come true. And then just be playing on main stage and all those thousands of eyes watching from home, people in the crowd going crazy. Like it's just there's nothing like it.
No.
So hopefully we can get that back soon one day. But for now, for the way the world is, just making sure that the teams are putting out the best content possible for themselves, their players,
what
the
are
league.
You guys doing?
At Rocker, they always have us doing like 2v2s against each other, some little trivia games, and some other stuff. Ashley Midnight. So she's learned from you. She's learned from you, and just trying to do her best and make sure we're on point with our content. And
are you guys willing to do that? Like, are you guys like, don't give her a hard time, dude?
No, we try not.
If she ever texts me like, yo, this dude's giving me a hard time, dead.
No, we try not to be in that position, hopefully. But we actually recorded 3 videos last night, like a 2v2, a free-for-all, a Warzone video. So we all got it done. We got it done. We're sealed. I'm safe for now.
That's good. That's good.
But just making sure there's an emphasis on content because that's what Call of Duty is known for. Like that's why people fell in love with it. Like the OpTic gaming back in Black Ops 2 versus the complexities, the Farico impacts earlier on, and then of course like Seth, Nate, you, and Big T, and Cap, and like all those like old school names that are still killing it to this day. Like that's what made people fall in love with Call of Duty.
I agree. That is the one thing that sets us apart from everybody else. Because if
Yeah.
you think about it, like, I mean, now more than ever, but at the time there was no one, like the reason that Call of Duty players have more followers than a lot of other professional players who are at the top of their game is because nobody was taking the time to sort of be like, hey, this is me. I like fishing. I like drawing. I like this, that, and the other. What do you do on the side? Like besides gaming, do you have any passions outside of it?
The only thing I really do outside of gaming is work out sometimes, and when the new game comes out, I stop working out completely, and I have to try and get back into it. Then just hang out with my friends, family, the dog, maybe go to the beach a little bit when I'm back home, or just like walk around and enjoy nature, because like we're inside so often that I want to make sure I'm getting outside, getting some fresh air, getting some sun. But yeah, when the new game comes out, that kind of all goes down the drain for a little bit.
How many players from Call of Duty are currently in Dallas? Do you know?
A lot. I know all the Dallas Empire except for Illy. All your team. Well, I think Matt and Brandon. Hopefully,
Yeah, they're
they'll
coming
be coming.
January for
Okay.
5th. Yeah.
So they'll be here. I think the New York team's also going to be moving here. 100T is going to be moving here as well. Our team's here, and then a couple other like stray players are probably. I think like Classic is moving here as well. So that's going to be like almost half the league, maybe more, that I don't know about coming to live in Texas, but it's looking like the unofficial CDL bubble here. So
yeah, which is something like everybody, like we all wanted that to be a thing, right? Like let's just all move to it. I don't know what it is about Texas. Obviously, the internet is like a major thing, but the weather isn't too extreme one way or the other. Like it gets hot, but it doesn't burn you, right? It's not Arizona, it's not Austin or that sort of thing. So I think one of the main sellers last year for people to move here was the OpTic team at the time going to play out of the Complexity headquarters and just like, being a different Kenny, you know what I mean? Being a different slasher and their true talents, not being sort of hindered by the connection that was happening there. Do you see a world in which, let's say next year, it doesn't, for whatever reason, COVID continues to be what it is, running rampant? Do you think that, would you be willing to go into a bubble?
I would be willing to go into a bubble, but it would kind of depend how they do it, because I personally don't think they would be able to do a long-term, like 3 to 4 month bubble, because I personally don't think they have the funds for that, because that costs a lot to make sure all the food is safely brought into the bubble. No one's allowed to go outside. Having workers like that constantly, I don't know if the CDL can really fund that yet, because we're not as big as the NBA just yet, so we have a little ways to go. But I would definitely be down to do a bubble. And a bubble for me, what I was thinking of maybe like a week to 3 weeks, coming in, scrimming for a week, making sure everyone gets tested or whatever they got to do, and then playing at these events over the course of another week, not getting any face-to-face interaction with any of the other teams, but your team has like their own little room. The other team has their own little room, and then you just play there on land versus each other. That would probably be the best option in my opinion. But I'm sure they're the masters, the professionals. They'll think it's something good if we do this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either way. I do understand. Obviously, I COVID rules and all that. Like I think that social distancing does go a long way, and it definitely helps. I just know that if everybody sort of commits to this one ideal that says, all right, we're here, we're competitors. Our job is to compete. Therefore, part of our job is to stay quarantined and not go out and not go do this, that, or whatever else. Get your food brought in, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that there is a possibility to do that. I just don't know whether. I just don't think or know why we wouldn't do it somewhere where it's more centrally located, right? Like if the majority of the league players are here in Texas, why wouldn't we do it here, right? Obviously, there will have to be rules around it because this is Dallas's home, homestand or whatever, home area. So I don't know. I think there's a way to do it, but hopefully by the time that this thing is all said and done, like come March, May even, something that, the vaccine's out. A lot of people are taking it, and there's no side effects. No one's got their.
Oh yeah, that was scary. Like I saw those pictures, I was like, oh my god, that is.
Apparently, it was the combination of that Pfizer drug with something else that did that, and I don't know. Don't quote me, quote me, but I am disclaiming that I didn't read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I do miss it, but I also do see the positive in all this and being locked down this much. I know that if for whatever reason, we finally open up these homestands, I think that they're gonna sell more tickets than they would have otherwise, because people have been stuck in their homes. They're gonna take full advantage.
Yeah, any reason to go outside, any reason to go to an event, a venue, they are doing it.
They are doing it, and just think about like the amount of money that they've saved. They're like, oh, I'm gonna go get the exclusive merchandise at the events, and I don't know. I'm excited for what 2021 is gonna bring. Obviously, there's a lot of things that we gotta go through. Obviously, going to PC has sort of brought up this like super challenging. PC Online has brought on this super challenging scenario where we don't know who's cheating. I don't even know. Like, I see shit left and right, like people streaming and also like sort of, seeing through walls and knowing where the opponents are.
Yeah.
How do they not, like, in their head, right? One, you're pretending to be someone, you're not, you fucking loser, right? Like, you're not ever going to be that. It's you're always going to get caught. It's the day of the internet. Like, we live in the internet. Nothing is secret anymore. Right? Nothing is secret. Someone's going to spill the beans. You're going to get caught. You're going to be like, I'd rather be a mediocre player having a job than a fucking good player for 10 weeks and fucking be gone forever.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the big issues with like search and destroy tournaments right now, is that you just don't know who's legit. Everyone is like the best player in the world all of a sudden, whereas in other games, like, you could play them, you could win them pretty comfortably every time, but now people are coming out the woodworks and just the best in the game. And I'm sure there is some legit people, a lot of legit people doing that, but there's definitely other people that are very sketchy. I've seen hundreds of clips and played a bunch of tourneys and just been like, all right, that was a little weird, and then later on, a week or two later, all those players get exposed because they were wall hacking or something. So it's just like, I don't even really want to play this right now, and that is what's really hurting the COD scene at the moment, because I feel like search and destroy is actually pretty fun in this game. I enjoyed it when I was playing it when the game first released, and hopefully there could be some kind of anti-cheat, not only for us, but for the Warzone players as well, because they need it desperately, because Warzone is amazing, and the fact that you go into half of your games as a cheater or some glitch, it's just like,
I play S&D 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, more if I can. It depends on lazy ass Hutch. He only plays for 4 hours a day and has no room to give. He's out playing 4 hours and that's it, right? That's my job. Where me and Diesel are like, we want to play more. Let's play like 3 more hours, right? Like I've been playing S&D since Call of Duty 4. Like this is the same thing as me. Obviously, from a physical standpoint, from a competition standpoint, this replaced basketball for me, right? I don't do the leagues anymore. I don't do like any of that. So this has sort of replaced it. And I think that I have a very good pulse to know. Like, I've seen so many scenarios left and right. I've seen professional players play for the past 10 years. Yeah. I play every single day. I know, or I have a very, very good idea when there's a 0 chance that you guessed right like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's an impossible scenario.
And so consistently, too. They guess right so consistently, but they haven't guessed right so consistently in the past 4 CODs they've been playing, but now they know everything. They learned over the past off season. So good for them if they are legit, and it's sure a lot of people that are, but it just sucks that you just never know. You never know. And then it's just like you don't even want to play because you kind of lose that like love for it, because you're like, okay, well, I'm losing to this guy and he's just cheating, and he got exposed a week later. So it's like, and they're so accessible too, all these hacks and cheats. Like, I don't know how much they are or how to get them, but I've legit seen them on like YouTube ads, like YouTube videos I've watched of yours, or like any video game player. There's been like cheats for like CS:GO.
Get
and like
the fuck out of here.
I swear there's been
on YouTube advertisements, like website advertising.
Yes.
Is there?
Yes, on YouTube. Over gaming videos, I swear.
No, like, hey, get the wall hacks.
Yeah, wall hacks, aimbot.
Get out of here.
Yes.
I've never seen one.
Yes, it's
maybe
crazy.
Maybe because I don't search for them like you cheaters, you and him.
I have to like switch it on though, like every other map. Like one map I'll turn it on, one map I'll turn it off, just so they don't get too, you know,
too comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about that is like, what does this do for the competition, right? Like we as a league are making a massive commitment in sort of going into, for business reasons, going into the PC into the PC platform. Obviously, it looks way better, right? That's a given.
Yeah.
But we're also doing that for business reasons. We don't have to share, our money that we sell from skins or whatever with the PlayStation store or the Xbox store. Aside from that, but what does that do, right, to the competition? Are we just gonna sit around and not do shit about it? If it gets too much worse, see, this is my thing, okay? And this is as a team owner, and as team owners, we've had the discussion.
Yeah.
How far are we gonna allow it to go before we demand an anti-cheat to be here, right? Like we're paying millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars to fucking make this thing go, and you're telling me you're not gonna give us an anti-cheat? Not even a disclaimer. It's like, yeah, we're working on it. None of this. Let's go back to PlayStation. Yeah, you can't cheat. You might as well go back to PlayStation. It's PS5. I don't know how the controller would work, right? Right, because it's a different controller now, right?
Yeah, I believe it's different. I don't even know if they have like scuffs or anything like that yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I don't have a PS5 yet, so I don't know how it works. But I mean, if it will negate the cheating effects that are happening, because I feel terrible for like the challenger scene, because I've seen so many tweets about people who have just played against cheaters early on in the tournaments and lost, and then that ruins their whole year for getting pro points. So it's like, how do you make it fair for everyone when someone could just easily be cheating? It's
and you not know anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Like when you have a sense in you that says, I didn't lose that. I didn't really lose that. Like I got cheated out of this thing. That makes it a little bit more difficult to be okay with it. But the doubt of saying, like, man, I don't know if he did or didn't. Like, think about how many people actually get away with cheating on a daily basis, right? Whether they tune it down just enough. Yeah. Because if somebody has your talent, you don't really need to put the cheat at 100%. You can just bump it up to make you an extra 10% better. I don't know. It's one of those situations where it needs like, pardon the interruption. We want to give a quick shout out to both HelloFresh and Warby Parker, both the sponsors for this week's podcast. Certainly appreciate their support, their patronage, and of course, them being down with the cool podcast, the award-winning podcast that is the Eavesdrop podcast. What is HelloFresh, you may ask? Well, get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh, which is America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store and makes cooking easy, fun, and above all, affordable. Okay? It's easy and stress-free. HelloFresh offers convenient, no-content delivery to your doorstep for easy home cooking with the family. The recipes are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures to guide you along the way. The great value about that is that you save 40% when you use HelloFresh versus shopping at the grocery store. Feeding the whole family has never been easier with lower prices for larger box sizes, so more servings means more savings, right? It helps you eat more sustainably. What does that mean? HelloFresh is the first global carbon-neutral meal kit company. By skipping the grocery store and using HelloFresh, you're reducing your food waste by at least 25%. 25%, that's a quarter. Okay, 25%. HelloFresh delivers pre-portioned ingredients so you're not overbuying, which is a burden to the planet and your wallet, if we're being honest. The packaging that HelloFresh uses to ship your food is almost entirely made from recyclable and already recycled content. Whether it's cardboard, some of the stuff that they throw in there is the packaging. You can dissolve it with water, which is super, super cool. I've seen that done a million times. Since they offset their operations, travel, and shipping emissions, HelloFresh's carbon footprint is 25% lower than store-bought grocery-made meals. Okay, this is sourced by the University of Michigan, right? HelloFresh is also committed to giving back. HelloFresh is committed to donating those in need. So far in 2020, they have donated over 3.5 million meals, okay? 3.5 million meals. You can help too. HelloFresh's Beyond the Box program, where you give nutritious meals to those experiencing food insecurity with just a couple of clicks on the application. Right now, if our viewers go to HelloFresh.com/H3CZ80 and use code H3CZ80, you get $80 off, including free shipping. That is a super, super good deal. Just go to HelloFresh.com. That is HelloFresh.com/H3CZ80 and use code H3CZ80 to get $80 off, including free shipping. Okay, so don't forget to use the code. Don't forget to use that link. It'll be listed down in the description below, so be sure to check out that incredible, incredible deal. Eat healthier. Reduce the carbon footprint, man. Like, it is good. It is good. Maddie and I have been eating the Sloppy Joes. I share whatever they send me. I share with Maddie. Maddie takes it home. Super quick to prepare, so it is super, super nice. Now, this next sponsor is a brand new one. It's Warby Parker, okay? It is a new concept in eyewear. Warby Parker was founded with a rebellious spirit and lofty goal to create boutique quality eyewear at a revolutionary price point. Offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams, Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores. Offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and contact lenses. Now, obviously, I have perfect eye vision, but that doesn't mean that the majority of, like, when the time comes, if it comes and I need glasses, guess where I'm going to go? That's right there. So what did I do? What do I do? If I can't take advantage of something that I am more than blessed to be able to receive a sponsorship from, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it to those in need. You know who needs it? Big timer. Jeez Louise. He's had the same glasses, and I'm talking about scratch-off glasses. I make fun of it. I'm the only one that can, truly. I'm the only one that makes fun of the scratch lenses on both of his glasses. So what did I do? I ordered 5. I ordered 5 different pairs of glasses to give to my man because, geez Louise, this dude needs it. And I don't know if it's a matter of time, which this obviously solves because you do it online, you get your testing done, and you are good to go. So as of right now, I don't have the product in front of me, right, because it was been ordered just recently. But the second that they get there, you better believe that there's going to be a gift video that I'm going to be giving to my man because you just got to do it. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. Ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. So if you don't like any of the frames that you got or it doesn't match whatever your vision needs, you can send it right back. And these are not just prescription eyeglasses. These aren't just prescription eyeglasses. These are also sunglasses. So, you know, obviously that's a little bit different. So I don't think that you'd be in a position to send those back because they're obviously going to be super good. So again, try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/H3CZ. That happens to be me. As an end-of-the-year treat, you can save 15% when you purchase 2 or more pairs of Warby Parker prescription eyewear, includes eyeglasses or sunglasses. This is a limited time offer that ends 12/31/2020. Okay? So make sure that you take advantage of the opportunity presented in front of you. I'm going to give it to you one more time for the people in the back and for the people that didn't pay attention in the first round. warbyparker.com/H3CZ to try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free. With that said, we're going to get back to Mr. Attach himself and continue the conversation, which is riveting, if I may say so myself. When does it start, the league? Do you know yet?
They haven't announced yet.
They haven't announced
yet. If I had to guess, late January, early February. But
let's say late January, early February. We have a month.
Yeah.
For you guys to put in an anti-cheat into this thing, because once this thing gets up and running, right, it's gonna go bad both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because look at that. What was that dude's Awakening, right? From
like from last year.
Nobody. There was talks about it, right? But poor dude, if he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he wasn't, like, poor dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too much into this. I don't want to, I don't want to hear your opinion whether you have one or not.
Yeah.
We can talk about the stuff offline. But those sort of situations will continue to happen, and it's bad both ways, right? Because imagine you are that good, but you get called a cheater. You'll never be able to get away from that until you actually go to land and improve yourself and perform and this, that, and the other. So.
And who knows how long it will be till then. So like it just sucks that if someone's legit and they're getting called for cheating. I know it happened to like that Paul X dude on Wester. They've been winning all like the 2Ks and like people were saying he was cheating. And so personally I don't think he was cheating, but like if it just sucks that rep is on his name now, and so people are watching him through a crazy magnifying glass even more, wondering if he's cheating. But it just sucks to like have that attached to your name. But that's kind of what comes with like there not being an anti-cheat, because then he's doing really well. He's probably legit, but people think he's cheating. So
yeah, what are some of the changes that you want to see coming into this thing? Because what's up with all these GAs, dude?
Oh, the GAs, yeah, they're getting a little crazy. I know in the Rose scene, I know the most recent one was like Task Force Barrel for the AK-74U, which it kind of acts like high caliber, and I'm a sub player, so I'm like, yo, it's actually not that bad. Like, we should keep it in for sure, because it's like a 3-bullet headshot and then like a 4-bullet to the body, so it takes one less bullet than usual. But I know in the Challenger scene, like, they were going crazy yesterday. I think they wanted to GA like the AK-47, the AR. They wanted to GA the SMG, the KSP, that's like the burst SMG.
Yeah.
The like 1911, that pistol, that's like really good.
Yeah, all of a sudden that pistol came out of nowhere, right? Like, it had to have been broken in the last update or something.
That pistol is really good.
Yeah.
It beats like SMGs up close sometimes. Even like medium range, it can beat ARs.
Yeah.
Like, you can map people with that thing.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But I think the GAs are getting a little too out of hand right now. I feel like there needs to be like a fair middle ground with everything. I feel like some people are just like, I don't like this gun, I want a gun. That's it. Like, then there's no really like hearing someone's side of the story. It's kind of just like, we all want this, or a couple of us want this. We're gonna fight this, and maybe one team doesn't want something gone, but what are they gonna do if they don't want it gone? They're just gonna get blacklisted. Like, it's a tough situation, and I feel like it's going a little too far.
Yeah, it's hurting the game. It's hurting the challenge. Like, nobody wants to see. Like, now it's becoming a spectacle, right? Like, there's so many people coming out here with news talking about, like, this is GA now, this is GA. Like, oh, they've gone too far. The GA in maps now.
Apparently. Oh yeah, apparently.
Like, Crossroads is no longer a thing.
Yeah, we scrimmed Crossroads versus you guys yesterday, but so I don't know like the GA with that
or the reason for it.
I don't know the reason at all. Because I think people were thinking when Raid was getting introduced, that would replace Cartel like officially.
Yeah.
So I don't know if people think that that's supposed to replace Crossroads or if it's just going to replace Cartel like it should be. So apparently people haven't been scrimming Crossroads. We played it versus you guys yesterday, so I'm not really sure on the whole situation right now. But yeah, everything is trying to get GA'd right now.
Yeah, I really like this game for S&D this year. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know about I don't know. That's the problem with GAs, right? Not only are they not allowed and they, whatever, but I think this is one of the reasons why it's not allowed. Because how far are you going to fucking take this thing, right? Like, snipers only?
Literally. There needs to be a spot where it's like, okay, you can go up until this point. You can't just keep going or there's not going to be anything to use. Like, all right, we're just running around with knives and no smokes. Like, there needs to be a point where it stops and before it gets too bad. And because imagine like a casual Call of Duty fan, like, oh, where's all these guns that I know and use, and they don't see any. They see like 2 guns. That's literally it. When in this game, which is different from all the other CODs, because there's a lot of viable guns in this game that you can use for SMGs, ARs, and I think we won't get to see the full effect of that if everything's banned. Yeah.
The thing with those sort of scenarios, that it also puts into question the people that are in the league as opposed to those who are sitting on the bench, or that didn't necessarily get picked up, or they fell off from the 5 to the 4v4, right? Because you sort of look at these players who are like begging for these GAs or doing their best. They're like, you're only doing that to better yourself because you're not gonna be able to compete with the people who don't give a shit about GAs and just like want to play the game, right? So it sort of brings to light that scenario where this whole friendship league, and it happens to look, I'm culprit number 1 for friendship leagues, right? Like, that's I all my friends are on my team right now, and I'll stick with somebody, instead of just fucking trying to replace them immediately because I like that storyline better than to, you know what I mean? But it does raise the question, is the current structure of the league and the way that we are sort of picking up players, dropping players, the way to do it, right? Because it's think about the amount of, I don't know, but it's also good because the competition is just going to be that much better, in my opinion.
I think the way it's going is actually pretty good because I feel like now is some of the best times to become a Challengers player and then hit the come up and become a pro. Because last year there was tons of people that made a name for themselves, like Mac when he joined our team, when I was on New York, Awakening when he was on Florida, Vivid. And Spark got a chance on LAG. Like, I feel like there were so many new players that came to the league last year and really made a name for themselves. And some stuck around, some are still back in Challengers, but they're grinding to make their way back up. So I feel like now is the best time to try and hit the come up. And I think what really halted everything was the fact that there wasn't expansion teams. And if there would have been expansion teams, even if it went back to 4v4, there would still be more opportunity and more spots in this league. So hopefully next year, if they do come in, there will be 16 teams. That would be like a dream. And then more people get the opportunity that they deserve, because there is a lot of very talented COD players that are not in the league right now. So there needs to be just more spots for them.
Yeah, I think there's 12 now. 4 more will make 16. I think that's a good that is a good solid number to sort of be at. I think one of the reasons that Overwatch didn't necessarily have, well, obviously there's so many things that went wrong with Overwatch as a whole. I do believe that there's a way for that to be turned around. I mean, I think esports right now is going through such a transitionary period that everybody's trying to find their footing on whether or not they are going to be a major esport, right?
Yeah.
You look at the amount of viewership on mobile games that you see, probably millions of spectators for championships. That's more than all of your major fucking esports currently, right? And you sort of wonder, like, who's watching these things, right? Like, how are this many people interested in what we're doing? So where I was going with that is, at some point or another, there needs to be a set of rules that truly apply to the league and sort of reshape the future of the league. When that comes, how that comes, who brings that up, like is going to be something that, you know, the players have to have a say in it, the team ownership has to say in it, and obviously the league has to say in it because, you know, they're the ones that understand how, and the developers ultimately will have to say something, right? So I don't know. I think this transitionary period will reshape the way that we approach all future competitions, and it doesn't help that we're going through a global pandemic.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help.
Right? So I don't know, man. I'm still excited about the future of it, but I'm thinking to myself, why aren't we taking the time now that we have so much downtime and we don't have to worry about these things to really put in place what needs to be done inside?
Yeah, that's one of the things that's always been specific to COD and very interesting is that the game changes every single year. There's a different developer. So right now we're with Treyarch. The year before we were with Infinity Ward. I don't know who's making the next Call of Duty yet. It's like, and with the franchise league, who do we like talk to directly and make plans for the next game? Because like if it's a league that's huge, all these teams had to spend millions and millions of dollars to get in. Like we should try and have the best competition, the best game, the best competitive game for the league. And I don't know who we need to be talking to doing that. Hopefully they are doing that behind the scenes. But if it's a different developer, some developers might not care about the league as much as others. So it's like a real weird area when that comes in.
Do you think that that's something that they know? Like, do you think that that's something that internally they're like, you know what? Yeah, this developer doesn't care as much as Treyarch, right? Like, or this developer doesn't care whether it's Sledgehammer, whether it's Infinity War, or whoever. Like, there is the opportunity to truly just sit down and be like, why don't we assign this for just competition for CDL, right? Like, why don't we assign this the same way that you have S&D, the same way that you have domination, the same way that you have this, you should also have a CDL playlist that is that. And I don't want to go too much into it again because that's like that's been the topic of my podcast and the OpTic podcast for the past like couple of them. But I don't know. It's change needs to happen. It needs to happen fast because we're going into season 2. And what's messed up is that every single event that we were going to be throwing during season 1, all the highlight reels, all that was going to be used as advertising materials for expansion teams to be like, yo, you could be a part of this. They could be cheering for your team like this. Yeah. Right. So now are we about to go into a second year where that isn't a thing? Like, think about from an organization standpoint, I was going to use all the footage from my homestand in April last year to sell sponsorships for that same thing in a bigger and better place for the upcoming season. But we don't even know where the fuck we stand with that.
Yeah.
The new format, right, that we're going into, obviously it's every single team's going to be at every single tournament. How do you feel about that?
I like that a lot.
You like that better than last year where you had bye weeks?
Yeah, because bye weeks, like, if someone's let's say we do have LAN events back. If someone's going to a LAN event and let's say OpTic is not Chicago OpTic is not at the event, they might not want to go. So now having every team there, it gives them like no excuse not to go because all their favorite teams and players are there, or at least one team that's their favorite is there. And I feel like it's better for competition as well because when you win an event or a home series and not all teams are there, it's like, what if the 2 best teams in the game aren't there? Are you really the best team at the moment? Probably not. So it's just better for competition purposes. Gives you more matches to be played as well for more content. Builds more storylines throughout the tournament because someone makes an 0-2 comeback versus this team that makes a crazy run to win the whole tournament. Insane story. But if there's only 8 teams there, like the story just isn't as good as it should be. So
No.
I like 12 teams.
You do.
Or all
I don't
teams,
know.
all
Like
teams.
having the bye weeks last year sort of was kind of cool, and obviously we only got to experience it like maybe twice.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
But the fact that like FaZe and Huntsman didn't play each other for a long ass time, that sort of like, oh my god, I want to see this happen.
That's true.
But that doesn't mean that during a tournament weekend, while depending on the bracket, that you're always going to see the same teams competing against each other. There will be the situation, right, where Rocker doesn't play OpTic, because of the way that the bracket breaks down. So I don't know. I think that for the most part, I think that this new format is the way to go, and it took a while to sort of get there. But we also, every single time that we're thinking about formats and every single time we're thinking about how things are today, we have to think about the fact that at one point or another, this league was only going to have 4 teams per event, right? Per homestand.
Really?
That is the way that it was going to be. Yeah, there was only going to be 4 teams per homestand. Think about that. Yeah. And then Hastro, me, and other team owners were like, whoa, that's not that's Call of Duty's not used to this.
Yeah, that because like at the CWL events we used to go to the open events, there would be a pool play game. You'd play like 4 other teams in the pool play and then go into a bracket. So like the Call of Duty supporters and the people that watch all the time are used to so many matches. Like they have the whole pool play, then they have the whole bracket, then you make the losers bracket runs, or people that a team just dominates through the winners bracket. Like people are just used to a lot of Call of Duty, and when it's like 1 or 2 matches, it felt off in Call of Duty. That's not what Call of Duty is, and I don't think it like was good for the Call of Duty story. I mean, in some instances it was, but overall, I felt like it was hurting it more than it was helping it.
Yeah, I agree. We were talking when you came in here. You're talking about camos. We've had some pretty, they're not bad camos, but we've seen that shit.
We've been there, done that.
We've been there, done that. So you were talking about the rocket one. What's it called?
Yeah, I don't even know what it's called, to be honest. I saw Nate Shaw quote it, and it looked sick. By far, one of the best camos we've ever had in Call of Duty.
It had the turbines in the back.
Yeah, it had like the rockets in the back of the AK-47, and you could like inspect it. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about the Call of Duty community is that we've been doing this for so long. So many people have stayed dedicated to a game that hasn't always given the most back to us, and people will buy the camos every year when it's just like the same camo, just a different sticker onto it. And now the fact that hopefully we can start getting very cool camos, like interactive ones, people would love that because we already buy the basic ones. Now we need something that grabs our attention and makes us fall in love with this camo. And hopefully they keep releasing more cool, intuitive ones like that.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a camo or 2 to 3 camos that are released for CDL that aren't CDL and aren't teams, but they are for a crowd-funded event for champs. Because if you want to see competition, go to the top. If you want to see competition levels rise to the top, to the tippity top, what you do is you crowdfund this thing, and you go from having a $4 million tournament to a $10 million tournament. And think about the PR. Activision is all about good PR and having that. This solves that issue. Like this. Why I'm so bullish about Call of Duty is because I know that at some point or another in the future, the CDL will allow teams to sort of upload their own skins to the game and sell their own shit. And I know that that's like the easiest way to become a profitable business that will enable. Look, esports as a whole has this very, very weird place where not every team is profitable. I can, 99.999%, right? But if the developer who is, sort of in this relationship with this team and they're both working on this one thing, if the developer chooses to add one more thing and they say, all right, we're going to take our percentage, we're going to take 50% of this because it's our shit, right? So we invented this thing. You can have your 50, and however you want to use your 50, you can do it. So an organization can be like, all right, 10% of this is going to go to the players because the other 40% is going to go to pay the player salary anyway. Yeah. But this makes us a profitable business, and it makes us that. That's why I'm so psyched about Call of Duty, because I know that at one point or another, this is the way, right? You have your sponsorships, you have your digital business, whether it's ads on YouTube or whatever. But then you're gonna have this digital item store that you can actually send out and do that. And I think that. When we get to that level, when we get to the level to where we're having a $10 million world champs, dude, think about the nerves of going up there.
It's going to be insane. Because honestly, I watch Dota every year for the international when they have the $20 million tournament. I've never watched Dota any other time.
Me either.
But when I see a $20 million tournament, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch because like that's the best of the best competition. You're seeing people's lives being changed in front of your eyes, and just the amount of prize money they get. Like I think if people place like top 6 or top 8, they get like $1 million. And I think Valve, was it Valve? That makes Dota.
Yeah.
They like pay the taxes or something, which is also insane. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I would just be down to have a huge tournament like that because that would just bring so many more eyes on Call of Duty because people just want to watch you play a video game that they love for insane amounts of money.
You know what's crazy about that is that like you talk about Valve and it's like the amount of good that they do with obviously the Dota and even paying taxes if that's a thing. I didn't know about that. But they're also like sort of they have their bads too, right? Like the way that they are being so careless with fucking Counter-Strike right now in this very instance. It's like if I'm them and I see that there's something bad happening with my game that has been around for 20 years and that's one of the most popular esports in the world, like I would make it a point to be like, oh, whoa, time out. Drop what you're doing this whole week. You, and you, corporate, all you guys come in this office. We got to figure out this Counter-Strike thing, right? At least with Call of Duty, we have this sort of like outline of what we are all here to do, and it's just figuring out how do we make money to be able to continue to support the orgs, the players, and the scene itself to continue to go. But I just find it super careless of them that they are that cool at allowing people to do certain things, but are being so careless with their esport right now. Like North American Counter-Strike is like out of the it's non-existent almost. It's just sad. It's fucking saddening.
And it's Counter-Strike too. Like everyone knows Counter-Strike. That's the video game that's been around for so long, and it's just hasn't really changed. Like some of the maps are still the same. They've been playing for decades, and just to see it not be like as prestigious as it should be as it once was, it's kind of like it just feels off.
Yeah. I sort of feel like sometimes I get negative about the situation, right? When I see people, when I see pro players just complaining about it, when I'm sitting here in my podcast, like talking about the bad shit, I feel guilty of the fact that I'm not, that I think to myself, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be talking about this because it somehow hurts the game a little bit. But at the same time, like I need to be making these conversations so in the future when it's like people can remember when it wasn't the way that they have it in the future, because the future Call of Duty is fucking bright, right? We know that everything's gonna get fixed. We know that obviously like it'll get there. It's only a matter of time before anti-cheat gets in there. It's only a matter of time before the crowdfunding events. It's only a matter of time, right? It's just patience and waiting to get there. But it does worry me a little bit that the amount of carelessness that's sort of happening on some of these scenarios, like kind of puts us in a spot where there's money aside, there's a beautiful culture that's on the brink of sort of not being happy with itself anymore, and then we're gonna start seeing players be like, hey, Valorant does seem cool, and I am good with the keyboard and mouse. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm bullish, obviously, with it, but I also see the fact that there needs to be a lot of change. Like no other scene out there has the drama that we have, self-inflicted, unfortunately, that allows for these storylines to raise the interest of people to want to do that. Like I open up YouTube and there's news about fucking Parasite. There's news about like HECZ and Doug Sensor Martin. Like, Parasite hasn't even competed in the pros for a long time, and they're still
still a staple, a household name in the Call of Duty
community. There's still a conversational topic around this dude. No other esport has that that. You know what I mean? Obviously with the scouting grounds, for example, that's like that just happened. Did you hear about that? Like how it went down?
Kind of. Depends. I didn't really hear.
So,
are you talking about the Doug or the Sensor Parasite situation?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I heard that. That was funny.
Like, think about that. Like, everybody is doing their job on all levels. We're doing our job here at the pro level. They're doing their job at the challengers level, and now scouting grounds has sort of become this like meme-y thing where people just don't give a shit about it anymore because it was done the weird way. So I don't know what sort of changes needs to happen before we find our footing on what the secondary market of Call of Duty looks like from a professional standpoint, but we need to figure it out because we have all the right tools. There's conversational topics that people care about and want to hear about, and we're just not molding it and shaping it to be a complementary piece to the overall CDL.
Yeah, I think the scouting ground is like a really good idea because it gives something for the supporters to look forward to. Maybe they might find their new favorite player competing and then follow his journey from being a top challengers player into being a professional player, then becoming a top professional player. So I think it's a really good idea. Maybe I think they did it for like too many days. I think they should really condense it and really like make it a couple days, but really highlight it and maybe put like a little prize or something like that to give people incentive to want to go hard and try and impress people in that, because that's the best way to see if a player is really good. Them in a tournament format, playing with new players or whatever it may be, and just like that, because that would be interesting to me if they all made like 12 to 16 teams, and then they got into a little tournament, people they've never teamed with before or they're teaming with at the moment right now, and then they play for a cash prize. Like, I would want to watch that because that just sounds intense.
Yeah.
It's like a draft, and then they're instantly going into a tournament. Like, that'd be really fun. But I think they just can't keep it so like casual for so long and just make it scrims. Like, it gets old after a day or two. That's kind of what happened with this time.
It just doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
That's not the way Call of Duty as a culture has ever worked. Who do you think is going to be your number one competition this year?
Number one competition. Number one competition.
There he is.
What's good, Sethi?
The Scumper Jumper walking in right on cue.
It's hard to say number one. There's so many talented teams, and now with the league getting condensed into just 4v4 and 12 teams, it made it even better. So you're gonna have to say like OpTic, Dallas, Empire, Atlanta FaZe, like Florida's even been really good. Toronto's been good. Like it's just there's so many teams.
Many now.
Like,
dude, when your team got put together, I texted Gary. I'm like, yo, you got a nasty team on your hands now. Not that last year's wasn't, but you can tell the difference, right?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I texted him, I'm like, yo, you got a nasty team. He's like, I do, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I'm so fucking psyched.
I appreciate the gas, but it's gonna be crazy and the thing with Call of Duty is some players aren't as good at this game that they were as last game, or they could be the best player in this game, but not the best player in the next game. So that's one of the interesting things about Call of Duty. You never know just how good a team or player is gonna be until they show up for these competitions and start playing. And that's what I think keeps bringing people back and want to watch to see if their favorite team or favorite player is just as good or however it may be. So that's one of the interesting things about it.
Well, you've been here for almost a decade, man. I think that you've held your own, and you won a world championship. You're one of the nicest dudes in the scene too. So
thank you.
Kudos to you. Kudos to your parents for raising you the way that they did. Any closing comments before we take off?
Any
shout outs?
Any shout outs? Shout out to my team. Shout out to the COD community. Shout out to you and everyone that helped build this so we can get to this point. Thank God, because I don't know where I would be without you guys. So I appreciate everything you and the rest of your team has done throughout the years, and everyone else has put in the work behind the scenes. So it's been good, and I just hopefully we can take it to make it even bigger and better, and it could be around a decade or two from now, and we can be watching people still compete. So that's the goal.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was a pleasure of ours, obviously, building this thing.
Thank you.
Doing our part in building this thing, right? We weren't just the only ones there, but you know what I mean. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoy the podcast, please remember to share it with somebody. All of Dylan's information is going to be listed down below. To make sure to check it out and follow him. Attach. We'll see you next time, brother. Appreciate you stopping by. Don't be a stranger. If you need any taco spots here in Dallas, you let me know.
I got you. Oh, I need those. Yeah, desperately.
There's none. They don't exist. I always say that, but I have no recommendations.
I miss my $1 street tacos when I was living in LA. It was literally the best.
I know.
Oh,
dude,
my God.
Jealous.
Side of the road, right across the street from like an Albertsons or something. It was the best thing ever. Oh my God.
Not here, dude. You're not gonna find a good salsa even if you try to. So
I gotta move out.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.